Hello, this is Captain Hocus speaking and welcome aboard today's flight. We are going to be departing from boredom and arriving in approximately a few seconds in the LP world. So I hope that you are having an awesome day and a great week. I know I certainly am. Before we jump into the bulk of today's episode, I do have a little bit of news to share, a channel update if you will. So on July 4th, I will be relocating. I'm going to be moving countries. I'm going to be moving from the US back to England. So as some of you may know, I'm from England, currently reside in the US, but I will be moving back to England on July 4th. That means in the coming week or so, I'm going to be selling up my PC and will no longer be able to make videos until I'm reestablished back in the UK. So there could be a short amount of time between then and now, or there could be a long amount of time between then and now. I don't know. I'm going to take my time with it. You know, moving countries isn't something that is easy to do, and it's something that's going to take quite a lot of time and a lot of effort. So I will get back to things ASAP, but this might be the last video for a while. So enjoy it while you can. And like I say, the channel isn't going to end or anything. I will be back, but there will be an amount of time between now and when I get back to things that will just be me getting my life back in order, doing the things I need to do, and reestablishing myself. Something else I want to make clear off the bat, and I kind of hate to say this, but I am very, you know, I'm tight on time at the moment, as you can probably imagine, with everything that's going on in my life. So this episode, it's not going to be a big one. We're gonna try and get some content out of it, but it's going to be one that I just, you know, I get out to you guys, just because I kind of wanted to share the update, and I wanted to make one last video before we departed for my move. But something here that I've been working on, you guys might have seen this on my community tab. I've been working on beautifying the ravine. I've always wanted to add something into it to make it look a little bit less plain. I wanted to keep it natural as much as I could, but I also wanted to add some design work into it. So we've used some spruce slabs, we've used some barrels, some hoppers, and some lanterns. I really like this combination here. Kind of looks like a little, what would you call this? Like a holder? A mount? I don't know what you'd call it, but it's mounting the light to the barrel. And every now and again, we've also chucked in some spruce log action. We've got some fences in there, some trapdoors, and then above them, I've just put leaves in. Now, beneath all of that, we've got a little bit of stonework. So I've incorporated a few gray textures to match that. We've got some cobblestone, some gravel, and some andesite. I've made sure that there is nothing other than stone in the walls of the ravine beneath this point, in order to keep everything uniform, but I think it looks good. And then eventually here we'll have a staircase or something that leads up to the surface and all the way down to our mine. I'm going to be thinking about doing that in one of the coming episodes before the world tour, but I thought I would let you guys know what I've been up to. And there's also something else to take a look at. I have been hard at work over at the deep storage system, and something actually happened whilst working here that really frustrated me. I will let you know in a second what that was, but we have been working on finishing up the ceiling design. So it now extends all the way to the front here. And this is where I've decided we're just going to cap everything off. We still do need to come through here and incorporate something into this area, but that won't be too difficult. It's not going to be too fancy in there. But yeah, that was something we've been doing. And that thing that really annoyed me was that there was a creeper. I think he spawned up there somewhere. He must have jumped down onto the stone here, and he was just hanging around this area. At that time, I think, up here on the scaffolding. So I kind of saw him out the corner of my eye. I was making a mental note of it. I was like, you know, Hocus, don't let that guy explode around here, because we've got a lot of redstone going on, and I don't really exactly know how all of this works. I followed a tutorial to make it, so it's one of those tough ones to fix if it breaks. Anyway, I saw him jump down on top of all the redstone work, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll go down there and take him out. So I jumped down, and I hit him, and as I landed, the lag kicked in. The hit maybe didn't register in time, and yeah, he exploded. So I tried my best to fix the door, and this is what it does now. So it doesn't work, as you can see, which is a pain in the butt, because I kind of have to pretty much just redo the entire top part, which is really annoying. And for that, I just hate creepers that little bit more. But wait, there is more. So again, something else I was doing off camera is, and I haven't got very far with this, but you can see I've actually removed one of the outside quarter sections of the iron farm. There is no longer a zombie in the minecart, which you can see rolling around there. It's empty, so it isn't working. And I've had plans for a while to actually move this underground because it's a huge eyesore. So I began work taking that down. That is something else that we're going to be progressing with in the world here. But finally, before we actually jump into what we're going to do for today's episode, I have decided that we're going to use the glow ink sacs on these signs here in the Arboretum of Gratitude. So if you don't know what this is, if you're new to the channel, this area is an area in which I assign trees and signs to everybody who has contributed financially in some way to the channel. So these are people that have donated, have became members, and sorry to Minecraft Modder, here's my story, and boys best. I will get more glowing ink sacs for you guys, but what this has done is just make the signs a little bit easier to read at night, and I quite like it. What we're gearing up towards today is a mining outpost. So with all of the new features in 1.17, including, of course, copper, we are going to adventure out far away, find a nice area in our world that is going to have freshly loaded chunks so that we've got the new ores being loaded in. And we're going to create a mining outpost, like I say. So I really want to incorporate some of the new textures. I've picked up some amethyst, some calcite. We've got some deep slate, which I'll get more of when we start mining. I also want to throw some copper in the mix. And obviously I'm going to focus on using some oak as well. And that's why we picked some up there. So all that we have to do now is fly, choose a direction, fly off in that direction. I really want some cool landscape. Is that the word for it? some cool generation. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. I want some cool generation to work with. So we did head out in this direction last time. I might do the same thing again today and figure out where we're going to put this outpost. Something I've got to be on the lookout for are shipwrecks, and I'll tell you why in just a second. But before we do that, I saw something interesting over here, I think. Is that it right there? Yep, that's it. So it might be a little bit difficult to see, but this is a good way to find geodes. So this is a geode right here. You can find them in the ocean. So if you look for the basalt and then mine the basalt, you will enter out into a geode. So there's a little tip for you guys if you were struggling to find them. But something I need from the shipwrecks is, I believe you can now find the moss inside of them. So let's see what we've got in this one here, if I can get in. There we go. And we got a bunch of goodies, which might come in handy. Yep, I will definitely be taking all of that. I'll also take the chests, because we will need storage at our new outpost. And then down here, we should have a little bit more. Okay, we've got a buried treasure map, which I may or may not do. I will decide in just a second. Is there going to be anything else in this wreck, or is that it? Because there should be, or in most wrecks at least, there is another chest that contains the agricultural things, which I'm sure will be the chest that will contain moss if we're able to find one. Okay, I'm pretty sure that this shipwreck doesn't have that final chest, so we might have to look for another one. But we are progressing towards a certain area that I've found in our world, and I'm pretty excited to build there, and I'll explain why once we arrive. This is it. This is where we will be setting up our mining outpost. Now, I bet a bunch of you have probably watched some of the first episodes of Season 8 of Hermitcraft. And my favorite YouTuber, I think I've mentioned this a bunch of times, my favorite Minecraft YouTuber is Etho, so I generally keep up to date with his perspective of the server. And him and Iskow in the first episode, they actually began building in a shattered, I think this is called a shattered savanna plateau or something like that. And it just looks so cool. So that's the inspiration for me to build in one of these. And the reason why it's so cool is because you can do things like this. You can jump off the top and just glide down. There's also a bunch more area over here that has a similar type layout. So we've got these cool cave-like areas that you can build in that actually have mobs spawning in them. And that is good for me, in fact, because I'm going to need some of these guys for their bones. So let's take him out while we can. But yeah, I just love the look of these savanna plateaus, and although they're just super huge and tall and all the rest of it, I think we can make a pretty cool looking area here to mine some copper. Again, apologies for darkness, but I found what we've been looking for. So here in this shipwreck, if we open up the chest, there it is. Moss, 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 and gunpowder. Do we need gunpowder? I don't think I really need any of this other stuff, but moss we definitely need, because like I said, I'm taking inspiration from that video that I watched recently on the Hermitcraft server. I want to use some of the newer blocks and other items. Moss is one of those things. So let's think about picking a place to start this outpost. There's something really appealing about this area right here. I don't know what it is, but I love these little cave sections that you get inside of the Shattered Savanna Plateau biome. So I think we're going to try building in here, but first things first, we're probably going to want to make sure it's safe, because at the moment it really is not safe. So That's going to require us to place down some torches and get the place lit up. We're also going to want to slay these mobs, so be careful. I don't want any of these guys to explode. The bad news first is that we have just ran out of torches, which is really not good because I haven't done a great job of lighting this place up. I guess we've done a somewhat decent job, but there's definitely more room for torches to be placed down. Good news is that we can now start beginning to think about our mine. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to dump off all of my stuff into this chest here. Make sure that we've got a clear inventory. And then I'm thinking that we start the mine up here. So I'm going to do something a little bit different this time. You guys know that I usually like to build 1 by 1 or 2 by 1, whatever you decide to do. 2 by 1 shafts that lead down into the earth and use ladders, but this time we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to use the diagonal stair method, and I don't know if that's the name of the method exactly. I don't even know if the method does have a name, but what I mean by that is we are going to just dig into the wall here. So we'll start right here in this area, and we will dig in by 1 block, and there's some coal right there. That's perfect. And then we'll go down a block. So every time we go down, we're obviously going to place in some stairs. And this is going to take us all the way down. So essentially, we're going to have a staircase that takes us all the way down to Y11. Or, in fact, I don't know if it will be Y11. I need to do some research on the best level at which to mine copper. And then we'll go down to that level and start mining. Finally made it down to Y11. And look at this. We have found some deep slate already, which is good because I do want to try and make use of deep slate where possible in the build over here. I just feel like it has some really, really awesome textures, especially when combined with the stone cutter. So we're going to want to get as much of this in cobblestone form as possible because that seems to be its most useful state. Also going to just clear out this here. But as you can see, I've got a nice staircase. Well, not so much a staircase at the moment as a hole in the ground, a diagonal hole in the ground, but that leads all the way out to the cave that we were just working in. And now I'm free to pretty much come down here and just start chopping away. So the very final stairs are going to sit at this level here. So maybe our first branch can be there. Our second branch is going to be here. And what I've decided to do is just go down to Y11 and see what the distribution of copper down here is like. Because I find that in general, the Y11 branch mining offers up pretty much everything that you could want from mining. So I'll see what it's like. If not, I've heard rumors that Y45 to 48 is a good level, I think is what it said. So we'll see. We'll see what our returns are like. And if they're not great, we might begin mining at a different level. But for now, Y11 branch mining is where we are at. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't think Y11 mining is the place to be for copper. I haven't been going for too long, but I haven't been able to find any at all in our branches. The only bit of copper I was able to find is when we broke out into a ravine just a second ago, and it was just sitting in the walls of the ravine. So I think I might have to try the... I think I said it was around like Y45, right? It was somewhere around there. Y45, I think, is a good place to go. I might have to try mining at a little bit of a higher level just to see if we can get better results, because so far, not so good, I have to say. Now, I've just read that copper spawns more commonly on Y47 and 48, which are these two levels right here. So what I've done is I've dug out this little corridor here at Y47. And what we're going to do is just set up a separate branch on this level and see if we can get any better results. Because like I say, down at Y11, we just were not getting anything at all. So let's begin mining here instead, because one of the main purposes of this outpost is to get some copper. And we want to make sure we're getting the best chance at doing so. So far, so bad again, guys. Little success on Y47. I'm figuring now that actually the best way to go about getting copper is to either make a copper farm, which I believe exists currently. I haven't checked any of those tutorials out yet. Or just to go caving, to go spelunking for it instead. One thing I did find here, that was another geode that will be behind all of this smooth basalt. And I did figure out as well in the last episode, I couldn't remember whether or not basalt was a thing already in the game. It did release with the 1.16 update, but smooth basalt wasn't in the game, which is what this is. And I think you get smooth basalt by smelting the nether basalt. So that answers that question. This way leads out into a huge ravine, which might be worth exploring. Ouch. For some copper at some point. But I think that the branch mining for copper technique is going to be dud and is not going to work. I'm still going to leave the mine here though, because at every... Wait, what? I missed this. Hang on. I missed this bit of copper. What the hell? But like I was saying, Every sort of outpost base that I usually create in Minecraft, I like to have a separate mine there just in case I do need to go mining for certain materials. So we'll leave the mine open and keep it in action and actually build it up a little bit. But like I say, I think caving or farming for copper might actually be the best method rather than branching for it. Doesn't seem to work out very well. Now what I'd like to do is a quick experiment, and I've sort of read into this a little bit but haven't tried it myself, and I want to do it over here on the sand. So I think with the moss, if you place a block down and surround it with stone or dirt, I believe, and then bone meal, said stone or dirt, or okay, maybe just the moss block, it actually expands, and you also get these little things as well. Now, what is this exactly? That is a Azalea. Okay, nice, nice. Let's see exactly how far you can get this to expand, because I might have just wasted some bone meal there. Let's push it out a little bit further. So, oh, look at this one. It has flowers. That's really cool. What is this? This is a flowering azalea. So we've got azaleas, flowering azaleas. We have, now do I need shears to pick this up? Nope, that is moss carpet. Awesome. These are all the kind of things that I'm looking for here. All right, got another azalea there. Got a bunch of grass that we don't really want. These azaleas are really cool as well. I could probably make use of those somehow. But I do like the moss carpet. The moss carpet is awesome. We're definitely going to make use of that. And then I'm figuring that you can just use a silk touch. A silk touch tool to get the moss back, which seems to be working. Now, big question is, can you craft the moss carpet? That's what I want to know. Let's see. Moss carpet? Is it in here somewhere? Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, so I figured this might be the recipe. It's a similar recipe to if you want to create regular carpet. So you just use a couple moss blocks. And the moss carpet looks something like this. So it fits really well with grass textures. So you can kind of overlay it on grass. And all right, you don't even need to use a silk touch item to get it back either, which is really cool. And then we've obviously got the azaleas as well, which we can use for decoration purposes. Oh yeah, I really like this. This is great stuff. And moss blocks, we can combine those. Sweet, I love it. I love it. We're beginning to make some steady progress here. And from a distance, you can see it's not looking too bad. So we've got a little mine entrance going on. I've incorporated some of the moss and a little bit of the coarse dirt in amongst it as well. You can see we've also began to kind of separate the layers of the area. So we've got this upper layer, this lower layer, and we will connect them with a staircase at some point. But let's get a closer look at the moss here. Something that Iskal did in the video that I was referring to earlier was to place the amethyst under the moss, and it makes this really cool sound when you walk on it. You hear that? The tingling? So I figured I'd do something similar because, like I said, I just really, really like that noise. I really like the sound. So great idea. And again, I'm just ripping off a bunch of ideas from other content creators. But you know what? I'm not the first, and I certainly won't be the last to do it. So we will continue just progressing here with the mine. I've also got this little kind of mine entrance thing going on, which was another thing that I took inspiration from a Google image, which is always a good place to go for inspiration for builds like this. So if that's something you're ever in need of, make sure you check it out. I'm starting to add some of the amenities that every decent base needs. So we've got some storage right here. We have got some automatic smelting here. I've built a secondary automatic smelting, which is going just to stay where it is. This one is actually going to get pushed a block back like this one right here. So, you know, same thing, but just slightly different in terms of outlay. We've got some iron cooking at the moment. I've been using that for the hoppers. So we'll leave this as it is until it finishes up this batch. And I think the next step is to probably begin trying to incorporate some of the deep slate. I've crafted up some of the blocks. I really like the bricks here. So maybe what we can do is just look to outline this section with some of that deep slate and see what we can come up with in terms of a design. You know what? I would say we've made a pretty good start to life here at the mining outpost. Things are looking good so far, and we've managed to incorporate some of the new textures that have been released with the 1.17 update, which I'm happy with. There could be room for more. For example, we still have the azaleas and flowering azaleas. Don't really know where I could put these. I guess next to the bushes might be a good idea. I think that looks pretty cool, actually. Let's maybe get a few of those down before we move on here. Let's get one in there, maybe. And then if we go to the upper layer as well, there's also a bunch of space for these to sit in. So we can get another one there. Perhaps we can get one in there. Oh, perfect spot there in the corner. Maybe one just in front of the bushes there. Yeah, you know what? That's pretty cool, right? Got a few of the azaleas in as well. Didn't really remember about those until just now when we looked in the chest. But all in all, like I say, I'm pretty happy with how things have turned out so far. A couple ideas I still have in mind for progression here would be to get rid of the torches. Torches look very ugly. Something we could do is head into the nether and grab some glowstone and replace a few of the... What are these blocks called? I can't remember. The purple stuff. Replace some of the purple stuff with some glowstone under the moss. That way we can have lighting in the ground and it will be hidden by the carpet. So that would be a good idea. I think we could also work on the interior of the mine. And like I say, add some stairs that lead down to the bottom just to make it easier to traverse up and down. And also just make it look a bit better because looking through the mine entrance isn't exactly very appealing to the eye at the moment. I think we could also add some more storage eventually. You can see it's very limited at the moment. I've labeled it in my usual fashion, but we've only got 8 double chests so far, which will suit us for now, but in the long run it's not going to do us too much good, because once we come here and actually do some serious mining, we're going to have a bunch of stuff including stone and more minerals to put away. And once we run out of space, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do. But yep, I've got plans to advance here, so you guys should let me know if you have any ideas of your own. We will keep working on this. I want to make this outpost something that we can return to in the future and keep using. So we'll have to keep in mind what exactly we want to do out here, because we are quite a distance out as well. We are at negative 3,600, negative 8,400. So potentially another idea would be to link this up with a nether portal at some point. All right then, everybody. Like I said at the start of the video, that is going to be all for a little while now. I would estimate that it could be around 2-3 weeks to a month from this point that we might get back up with videos, but it could be longer, could be shorter. I don't know. I'm not going to give you guys an exact time because I don't want you to be disappointed if I don't reach that time. Anyhow, I will get back to things ASAP, so stay tuned to the channel. If you enjoyed this one today, please be sure to drop a like down below. That would be much appreciated. Any questions, suggestions, comments, or feedback, drop those down in the comment section below. And remember, I did say to leave any ideas about things you might want to see me build here, ideas about incorporating some of the new 117 textures. So just let me know, and I'll read all of them, respond to any that I feel require a response. And finally, if you are new here and this is your first time watching me, then welcome. My name is Hocus. I hope you enjoyed your stay on my channel today. If you did, please consider dropping a subscription. That is the red subscribe button down below. It's totally free, doesn't cost you anything. You can always revoke your subscription in the future if you don't enjoy my content, but I'm sure you will, and there will be lots more Minecraft to come. So like I say, stay tuned for that. Anyhow, guys, bye for now. I'm gonna miss you guys. But take care, stay safe, and we'll catch up again in the future. Bye bye.